It's just a public service announcement sponsored by Just Blaze and the good folks at Robert.
If you're hungry enough and you have a sense about you that you do whatever it takes to get it done, you'll find a way. And everything that I just mentioned, I found a way. How? Because I'm doing it.
Allow me to reintroduce
Yo,
myself.
welcome to the podcast. My name is Nick Sorrenti. I'm your host. I'm here with my best friend, Lawrence Gulliver, CEO of East End Threads. My dude's coming up. You know, I've seen his clothing. I've seen what he rocks. I see the clothing that he wears on an everyday basis, and you gotta fuck with it. And if you don't, oh well.
Something right. It's
not gonna stop him. So we got a good one for you guys today. We got someone in the fashion industry. We have someone that started from the bottom. He's worked his way up. He's nowhere where he wants to be, but he's getting there. He's showing consistency. He's showing perseverance. He's showing things that you have to do. So on this podcast, we're going to talk about the adversity you're going to face in every day of going into the clothing industry, of the competitiveness that goes into this industry, and the things you could do on an everyday basis to put yourself in a better position to succeed, not just in the fashion industry, but in everyday life. So I just want to introduce my boy Lawrence Gulliver. Take it over, man.
I just want to say thank you for having me, my man. I definitely seen a lot of jewels being dropped on the show.
Absolutely.
And I definitely am just grateful to be in this position, grateful to even have this opportunity to drop some jewels of my own.
That's it. So the first thing I want to talk about, I want people to get to know the real you, like how I know you.
Very
you know
important,
what I mean?
very
So
important.
I want to talk about the beginning, like where you were from. How did you know that one thing wasn't for you and you figured it out? What was your journey like? Take me to a couple years ago.
I got you. I'll start it off really early. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, East Flatbush. I definitely knew that there was a chance that we was gonna be coming upstate and stuff like that, but I wasn't very thrilled about it. But at the same time, I was still fairly young. I'm about 15 years old. But the thing is coming upstate and stuff like that, I definitely had to adapt.
Yeah.
I definitely a huge culture change, and I definitely had to figure some things out as far as moving forward. We had to move back. We ended up moving back to Jersey. I stayed in Linden for about 2 years. Shout out to the Jersey fam. And then, some things didn't work out. I was definitely heading down the wrong path as far as the
So
right
you were going
the
from one
crowd.
place to another, not being settled anywhere.
Just never settled.
Trying
never
to find
settled.
yourself, but you couldn't because you were in a different place every week.
Right. And there was no way to really even control that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being at such a young age and stuff like that. But as far as just the growth really comes from actually seeing things for what it is and being uncomfortable and moving forward. And my whole thing it's just that, it wasn't a situation that I was comfortable with from the jump, but I knew it was something that I had to overcome, and it was something that I had to move forward. Having a younger brother as well, and knowing that I was a role model, and knowing that he was watching my every step.
Yeah.
So as far as that goes, that was something that was really important to me.
Yeah. Now I'm talking about role models and people you looked up to. I'm gonna cover that in a little bit, but first of all, even when you're a little kid, people are always asking you, teachers are asking you, parents are asking you, what do you want to become? What do you dream of being? What do you aspire to become in the long haul? What was something that, since you were a little kid, you've always dreamed of, to touch on?
One thing I could definitely say, and people definitely know, my people definitely know me for me, is that at a young age, I was really into dance and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know that.
That was a very huge spectrum of me and how I described myself, how I carried myself. So I did have that outlet early, and I did think about pursuing dance at times. I did, but it was never all of me. It was never all of me, and I always had a common sense of fashion, and I always felt like I had to carry myself a certain way, and that was
just in you.
100%, and that's something you can't force.
No,
you know what I mean. I look at it from this perspective. From a younger age, I wasn't looking at what was the top designer I could jump in. It was really this is what I have, and and I'll bring this to life in any way possible. You know what I mean? And that's definitely something that I could take a step back and say that, you know, yeah, people dance, people do this, people do that, but at the same time, there's going to be time where you go through life and certain situations, certain times expose you. You know what I mean? Maybe absolutely. I can't necessarily tap into dance how I used to, or maybe I have to, pursue something that's actually going to be,
Now, where did that lead you? Like, you knew, like, you wanted to become a dancer, but that wasn't really the track you were going down.
Yeah, that was just something small, like at parties, battles.
You enjoyed the hobby you did on the side. I remember you practicing before the middle school dances and shit.
all that. Little battle with Louise.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Shout out to Louise. Shout out to our maid Louise.
So, what's it called? So, what kind of, like, obviously you're pursuing the entrepreneurial mindset, the entrepreneurial goal, the delusion of being an entrepreneur. But it's what I want to talk about is, like, it didn't just happen.
No.
The entrepreneurship, it didn't just happen.
No.
It's not something you're just born with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's something that you develop into.
100%.
So I want to talk about, like, the negative side of, the 9-to-5 jobs that you had to pursue that you thought was going to be your career for the long haul. Yeah. But then you realize, this ain't me. I don't have that heart. I don't have that drive for it. So tell me a little bit about that.
I'm going to start off with about 2 years ago. I was pursuing life insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember that.
Now, this was a big piece of cake because I had to take a step back and I had to look into certain things. And I'm like, I don't study. Like, I never studied. That was never a part of me. So I'm not going to... But I also did take a step back, and I did have a line of testimonials that I could look at and be like, all right, if I did this, I could have that.
Yeah, the residuals coming in this way.
So then I was like, you know what? Like, I got to lock in.
Yeah.
Like, I really might have to lock in. So I dove in. You know what I mean? As far as everything, it was just a life, accidental health, all that, and I pursued it. I pursued it hard. I turned around and switched up my habits. I was studying a lot more. I was using note cards. I was doing this. I was doing that. First test, bombed it. Mind you, in New York State, you got to get like a 70. It was a 70 you had to get. So I had to fail really bad the first 2 times to actually take a step back and really see this is actually time that you're actually gonna have to put into this to actually see the gratification that you want to see. So then, I started moving forward and really digging in deeper. Like, you didn't see me on the weekends. You just, like, I was gone.
That's it.
Like, gone. And long story short, I got to a point where it was 67 or 6. I was like 2 questions away, and I was honestly thinking to myself, like, mind you, I've taken the test 7 times.
Facts.
Throwing that out there. New York State test 7 times, and the only thing I was replaying in my head through
that's a number you'll never forget.
Oh, I can't.
You'll never forget it.
I can't, because I got punched in the mouth every time, but I still needed it.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna talk about what that shit taught you.
Yeah. It definitely opened different paths in other areas as far as staying strong on your mental. So just to wrap that up really quick, I got like 2 questions short of not passing it, and I actually just took a step back and I broke down. Like, I really broke down. I'm like, damn, I'm 2 questions short on 150 questions. You know what I mean? Like, this was never a part of me. You know what I mean? I got this close, so I bit the bullet. I look back and I saw how much money I've spent. I maxed out my mom's credit cards. Like, people don't know this stuff. You know what I mean?
People only see what you want them to see.
Exactly. And I definitely had a chance to really sit back and ask myself. Literally, I was at my dining room table at my house, and I'm literally just sitting down. Mind you, my phone bill is like past due in like 4 months. I'm moving on email. And I'm literally sitting down thinking to myself, like, what am I going to do? Like, not only what am I going to do, but how am I going to provide for myself, for my family, for everyone that I consider my wife, for literally everything. Like, what am I going to do? And the number one thing that I thought about was fashion. Something that I could always bring back.
Now, how did you ask yourself? Like, how did that come up? Like, it didn't just poof,
No,
fashion.
100%.
But, like, tell me, walk me through that. Like, how do you know, all right, insurance isn't for me. I've spent hundreds thousands of dollars on this career, but I'm just going to walk away. Like, how did you have how'd you have the guts to just do that? You know, I already invested so much time into this. Mm-hmm. Why is it okay now to walk away?
How can you just drop it?
How can you just drop it?
See, that's a really tricky question. The only thing is that I took a step back and I was sitting down. Honestly, I was just sitting back and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, how cool would it be if I'm in the bar or I'm at a party with like some of my friends or whatever the case might be? How would it look to see all of us in the same hoodie, or kind of like a fraternity in a way, but not the same vibe?
You tell them the story that you saw that really triggered it in West Virginia. Remember you were telling me about the fraternity and you saw the...
Oh, yeah. So it was in West Virginia. It was also in... It was in West Virginia. It was in Cornell. It was in a few different spots where I was seeing like fraternities and stuff like that. And you see fraternities all the time, whatever. It was just a feel that they brought of a unit. Yeah. And that always stuck with me in such a small way. And I never, dove into it. But this day, man, this day was crucial for me. I was really down this day. Like, I was really, really down mentally.
You were just trying to escape. Down there.
And I was literally just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I had a pen in my hand, and I didn't have my book at the time where I have all my information and goals and stuff like that in, but I just had a little sheet of paper, and I was honestly just breaking it down. Like, how cool would it be if I pulled up to the next spot or whatever, and I could see 2-3 of my friends with something that I created.
Yeah.
And I took a step back, and it happened. Down the road. Yeah. But that day, that was the introduction. That was a small vision that I had the opportunity to see come to light. But if I never saw it as vividly as I saw it through my head, it would have never happened.
Yeah.
It would have never happened.
I feel on that. So, tell me about the whole... Because when you took on fashion, like that was a career. That's something you wanted to pursue,
right?
But like the whole entrepreneurial side came out of you too,
right?
So you started doing some other stuff on the side that really helped go into fashion.
You see, the thing is with today's society is that people feel like you have to listen to everyone around them, and they listen so much for so long, and it's too late. My whole thing is that, as an entrepreneur, you don't wake up and just say, I'm an entrepreneur.
No.
Like, it's lonely. It's lonely as fuck. And one thing I could definitely say is that going through so many jobs, having so many... I was doing construction last year. I was doing... I was dipping into stuff I wouldn't normally do, but I had to survive. I had to literally find a way. I had to hustle. And through that time of that job and that job and that job, that's how you actually build more of a blueprint for yourself, in a sense, to say, who made you the boss? Yeah. 'Cause you have a boss. So if you're on a salary, you're not actually a boss. Yeah. So through those many times and going from all of these different jobs, I had a chance to actually see what it took and what an employee really was, to then actually take a step back to know, actually, hey, I'm actually an employer at heart. Yeah. I'm willing to live a certain amount of years how other people wouldn't dare to. Yeah. And
not to cut you off with that, like, I read a quote the other day about being delusional. Mm-hmm. An entrepreneur, his best asset is that they're delusional. Mm-hmm. They see something so vividly, and they don't stop until they actually get it. And people look at them like they're fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. But because they're delusional, people don't see the big dream that they had. They don't believe that they can accomplish what they already see in their head. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I bet the first time, I know for me, when I wrote my book, and I got that first heart, like, I saw it so many times, like, why am I writing a book? Yeah. And then I wrote it, and every time I wanted to stop writing, and it got hard, I was like, why the hell am I writing a book? Like, there's no reason, no one's thinking for me to write a book. But then I pictured, one day I'm going to be able to hold that shit and be like, that word, that came out of my mouth. You know what I mean? I wrote that. And then when I finally got that book in the mail and I opened it up, the vision came true. So I'm sure that when you had that vision that one day of all your friends wearing your stuff, and then you told me that one time you went down to the bar and your boys were wearing your shit,
to the sidebar.
and your boys are wearing your shit, and that's how that's the power of envisioning.
100%.
You know what I mean? That's the power of putting the work in. And to go back to your insurance and the bills that you had due, all of that, all of those lessons, all of the times of struggle, that prepared you for entrepreneurship and that prepared you for fashion.
Yes.
So
Yes.
insurance thought what insurance made you realize that you needed to put the work in. Without even realizing, it taught you something. You didn't
it made me tougher.
You didn't get the certification. But what you did get is the work ethic.
Yes.
You never. You said it before you even started this. You said it during this podcast. I was never the one to study. Never do that. Now, how much are you fucking reading? How much are you listening to podcasts? How much are you studying? How much are you going down to the city?
Right.
That's what insurance taught you.
Right.
So thank insurance.
Right.
Thank you for putting me in this position.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to make you guys realize is that everything you do in life, even if there's not a reward at the end, you're not reaping a reward. It's teaching you something.
100%.
It's teaching you something that's going to help you in the long run. Me, the podcast, I didn't know how to video edit. I didn't know how to record. I didn't know how to mess with the mixer.
But
and you know what I did? I picked up a book. I studied YouTube, and I learned how to do it. So I don't have. So my mindset is, and this I know your mindset's the same way, is that my goal is I don't want to ask anyone for help. The reason why is because when I'm my own boss and I have other employees and colleagues, I want to tell them, "Oh, you're not doing it the right way." But I'm not going to call Jimmy and Johnny to come teach you. I'm going to teach you. This is how you do it. You do it my way because I taught myself.
Right.
So if you want to create a business for yourself, stop ask others for help. But when it comes down to something that you can do, don't be lazy. Figure it out because that's what's going to teach you the most lessons.
Do your research.
Exactly. So, in terms of entrepreneurship and becoming the fashion, there's always a why that you mentioned. And I want to learn, like, what triggers you? What's your why?
My why is very simple. My why is my family. My mom, my dad, my little brother. Now, I speak on this very close-heartedly because my mom, my dad, both of them strongest people I've ever had. You know, the strongest role models that I have in my corner. And I've always been inspired by their work ethic, and that's also what gave me the drive that I have today in so many different areas. As many people know, you know, as you have always known, my dad, you know, he's still commuting up from the city. Mind
How
you,
many years?
It's about 8 years now
8 years.
that he's been commuting, and I'm up here with my mom and my little brother, and we're holding it down. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We're doing what it by all means. And at the end of the day, when I think about, you know, the conversations that me and my mom have, and you know, she's getting into, you know, how much her feet hurts and stuff like that, and that affects me, man. It breaks me down in so many different ways, but she doesn't see that. You know what I mean? The only thing I really can say is that, and I have it tatted on me, is that, you know, we shall get through it, and we will. You know what I mean? And as far as my dad, you know, we didn't always have the strongest connection. We wasn't always as close, but he gave me so many different assets and attributes that I didn't necessarily see until I got a lot older. Yeah. And then with that being said, I'm so grateful to have such high role models because that's a fortunate situation. Not everyone's fortunate enough to say, hey, Mom, hi, Dad. So one thing I can definitely take a step back and say is that I've learned so much through them with literal body language, with literal trials and tribulations. And I take a step back, and that's my why. And with my passion as far as fashion, using my hands and providing value in some way, I want to take a step back and literally just thank them in a way of giving me that work ethic and giving me that strong if I fail, if I take a L, anything in this field, I will keep going. Yeah. I will 100% keep going. And as far as the distractions, as far as what Tom, Dick, and Harry got to say, I mean, that's what's going to come with it.
And there's always going to be distractions.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the fashion world. But Lawrence had his first runway.
First showcase
at BU, and this is a hard position. The reason why this is so
that's Binghamton Universities.
Yeah, it's impressive because there was a wait list for this for like a year and a half, and Lawrence was just marketing himself through his social media, and they got in touch with him and asked him to become part of the show, and they did 2 shows. One show was a paid show where people had to pay for tickets to come through, and there were top-of-the-line designers there, and then there was a Sunday show where people just came for free, more of a lower-class designers that, not lower class, but just people that aren't at the next level, that aren't at that certain level yet. And Lawrence got asked, humbly got asked, and he absolutely said yes. And what he realized is that there's a lot of freaking competition out there. And I'm sitting there. Lawrence is one of the last. Lawrence is out there, one of the last to go, and we're sitting there, and these people are putting on a show. And the whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, yo, I wonder if Lawrence has some shit planned like that. But he didn't. And I'm saying this as a friend and as a brother, is the reason why he didn't is because that was his first time. Don't think you know it all because you're in this field or you're getting asked to go somewhere. Because you don't. No. You have to learn. So as he's performing, he had a great show. He put on a good show. He had good clothing there. But he felt that he wasn't prepared as much as he should have been because he saw the competition. And you learn from your competition. So what I did, I saw his face. I went over to him and I said, I want you to remember this feeling.
Hell yeah.
Remember that feeling. I said, I'm going to be in my basement tomorrow night. You know where I'll be. If you want to work, I'll be there. And that's it. You got to realize that it's okay to fail. It's okay because you put yourself out there. You take it apart. He went up on stage. Everyone says thank you for all the guys. He went up there and gave everyone a salute. Balls, confidence. That's the type of demeanor.
Confidence is huge.
Even when you fail, have to fail with confidence.
Huge.
Die with the lie. That's it. Have confidence in what you're doing. So, but one thing. Lawrence isn't doing fashion yet full time. He has a daily job that he has to do in order to put food on his food on his tables because he's not where he wants to be. He's not at that next level yet. Either am I. But we're working daily jobs. So tell me a little bit about your daily job and what that does for you and your business.
Oh, 100%. I could definitely say it's a key aspect of everything. Yeah. Of everything. As far as from Monday to Monday. Currently, right now, I'm working sales. In the phone business at T-Mobile, and that's my 9 to 5. That's my bread and butter. That's actually the biggest priority right now. As you know, in today's world, it's not one stream. You can't live off of one stream. All right, what's one stream?
Talk about that.
You know what I mean? And as far as my 9 to 5, my 9 to 5 gives me so many jewels that I take a step back and I'm grateful for every day. Just to be really quick, something like just knowing how to talk to people. Knowing how to communicate with people, learning how your body language is presented when you least expect it. Yeah. So many different things. The list goes on. But one thing I could take a step back is say that I'm in the field of fashion, and what I'm trying to do is provide value and to create and to inspire in any way possible. As far as my 9 to 5, not only does it fuel my business as far as funds, but it fuels me everyday education, and it fuels me in ways where, I can invest within my business, and I can bring more to the table in a lot of different ways. And actually, through my 9 to 5, I've had many people that I've met that's actually helped me in certain situations down the road that I didn't even necessarily know could have happened. But we spoke, and people ask questions, you ask questions, and you find shit out. And I could definitely say through sales, I've learned so much going into my business. It's something
that's adding value to the business.
It's
just
adding,
like insurance.
It's adding 100%.
It's not the end goal, but it's the goal that's going to help you get to your end goal.
It's the stepping stone.
Exactly.
And people want to take a step back, and I actually went through this, so I'm not talking like I know it all, and I'm talking through trials. I'm talking about through some sweat and using your hands. There's a time where you start a business and you're so invested mentally and you're so excited that you're not taking a step back to actually be realistic. Yeah. You gotta be real early. As soon as I started, I was like, you know what? Fucking 9 to 5. I'm about to start this up. I'm good. This is all I think about. Yeah. I don't want to go to work. What do you mean? But then you get smacked in your mouth. You know what I mean? You have to take a step back to see that, hey, just because you made $1,000 here and just because you made $1,000 there, that's not shit, bro. You got to go back to work. You got to pay the bills. You know what I mean? And I took a step back and I'm like, all right, well, this is how much I have in expenses. My phone hasn't been on in like 3 months. You know what I mean? I got to find a job, a strong enough job that can pay off my bills, and with that paying off my bills, also have a little bit of extra on the end to invest in the business. Yeah. That's very hard to find, especially in Binghamton, New York. There's very not much opportunity. But as far as that goes, I had a chance to actually really really see things for what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just being realistic with yourself. Being realistic.
Be realistic, but
is huge.
To touch on that, there was a podcast I was listening to last night, and the more I think about it, the more it relates to this, because what I've realized about life, and including myself, I'm sure in your situation, other situations, a lot of people want acceptance from others. It's just natural. It's a natural thing. But what people want, if people think, oh, I'm going to be a pro athlete, I'm going to be the best salesman ever, I'm going to be a fashion designer, I'm going to be a public speaker, and they want to qualify for different positions. But the real question is do you qualify? Mm-hmm. That's what you have to ask yourself. Mm-hmm. Do I believe in myself? You have to ask yourself first before trying to get the qualifications or the approval of others, like in someone in your field, and making them believe in you. Or do you believe in yourself? Yeah, that's you. Do you believe in yourself because you think you believe in yourself? You think you can see it, or do you actually believe in it? Do you look at yourself every day? Do you say, I have what it takes? Because I have it. I know I have it. I think of it every day. I think of one image of me on stage in front of thousands of people and someone taking a picture of me, most definitely my girlfriend, Kayla, in the background, taking a picture of me in front of thousands of people. That's the vision I see. And I realized through my speeches that my speeches are good, but they're not where they need to be to speak in front of thousands and thousands of people. And I know that. And that's why I'm working on it and I'm fixing it, because I know I want to hit that next level. But that's the real that you have to take. The realization of that is your clothing there. That's the real that you have to say. So don't be realistic in the sense of, oh, you know what, like I can't hit $1 million. Fuck that. No. Realistic in the say, I can hit it, but how am I doing what it takes now to hit $1 million? To
actually see exactly the gratification.
So in terms of, and also with your streams, with the whole T-Mobile, people work 9 to 5s all day and they go to sleep. They will eat their day and they go to sleep. The whole point of a 9 to 5 as an entrepreneur or someone in your field, in my field, is to work that 9 to 5, but why the hell are you going to work 60 hours a week for someone else to accomplish their dreams and then go home and go to sleep? Fuck no. I'm going to work 9 to 5, work my ass off there, then come home and dedicate 3, 4, 5 hours a night to my dreams. You still get 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night. That's the type of passion that you have. That's the realistic that you have to dream of. And now with the streams, I just read a book by Grant Cardone called The Millionaire Booklet. Love this book. Please, guys, get it. It's going to change your friggin' life. Streams. He talks about, he has 55 streams of income. 55. The average millionaire has 7.
Damn.
He almost 8 times more than that.
Damn.
Almost 8 times more than the average millionaire that comes in today's world.
It's nasty to think
Insane. But the whole thing about streams is, how I look at it now is like cutting hair. Like that's my first stream. And speaking, that is my second stream, but I'm not using that stream. You got to put your second stream into a surplus. So say the money you're making off of say anyone out there, you have another stream of income. Put that, focus on the one stream that makes you be able to do the other. So T-Mobile is your one stream. Now you're going to use that stream as a way to produce for your second stream, to put food on your table. That's how. But then the second stream you're going to put into a surplus account, something that gains value over time, so you can invest in the long haul. And then when you put that in the second, this is how you got to think of it. You have your one stream of T-Mobile. You have your second stream of clothing line. You put the second stream into an investment account that accumulates interest. That you can't touch that. So that's going to force you to create another stream. And that's how you add streams. You start adding, you switch streams. You start going up, and that's how you create a fucking pyramid. That's how you get different streams of 100%. Income. And that's what's so important that people have to realize that it's okay to work that 9 to 5. Even if you're trying to aspire to be a clothing line designer.
But that can't be it.
That can't be it. That has to be just your first source of income. He uses a quote. He goes, I'm broke, but I ain't poor. That's how he lived like that for 20 years. He said, yeah, I'm broke right now, but I ain't poor.
That's heavy.
You know what I mean?
That's heavy.
So, like, because it's there. It's there. But he's just not touching it. And in 20, 30, 20 years, you're going to have a large surplus of 10, 15, 20 different accounts. You can't always live for now. You can't. You have to plan for later. Live in the moment.
It's a long game.
But plan.
It's a long game. And that's the thing. Like, there isn't instant gratification. No. All right? It's hard. Fuck all that.
It's hard.
All right? There's going to be nights where you want to turn around and be like, yo, why am I doing this? This person didn't answer today. I don't think I should send this money to this guy because I don't know what the hell I'm going to get. I don't know whether I should. No. Like, me personally, I feel like...
tell me about your struggles. Like, what do you struggle with?
In this field of fashion, one thing I definitely got to put on the table is that nothing is a handout. All right, you can't just pull up at the local, you can't pull up at the local boutique and just say, "Hey, listen, I need to have my clothes in here."
Yeah.
Or you just the main if only one of my main struggles that I can definitely say is staying on top of myself.
Yeah.
I'm in the early stage right now. Come June, it'll be a year. I'm in a I'm close to nothing. And one thing I can definitely say is that it's very important to be grateful for the position that you're in, even if you're not where you want to be yet. But if you could take a step back and just be grateful for the position that you're in and be grateful for what you have around you, that will only clear up, exactly where you're trying to go. And you'll only see where you're trying to go that much more clear. All right? And that comes with awareness. Taking a step back and saying, like, real struggles, like, taking a step back and actually everything that I wrote down in my book as far as goals, as far as, okay, I gotta post this at a certain time. I gotta present it in a certain way. I have to wake up and listen to this at this time. Yeah. I have to look at my schedule.
You have goals to hit.
Right. I have to look at my schedule this week to see exactly how I'm gonna be able to do this, how I'm gonna be able to do that, how I'm gonna be able to get these orders out, who's gonna get them out. And these are certain things that you have to figure out along the way. But if you're hungry enough and you have a sense about you that you'll do whatever it takes to get it done, you'll find a way. Absolutely. And everything that I just mentioned, I found a way. Absolutely. How? Because I'm doing it myself. I can't call up somebody right now, and a distributor, and be like, "Hey, listen, I need you to go push that down for me or do this." Yet. It's not that easy yet. Yeah. I don't have that. I don't have that credibility yet. Yeah. But with the small stepping stones, just add in the small wins. The small wins just honestly give me momentum, and I honestly could take a step back. And I had a moment. I did think about my struggles, and I did think about how I could be a little bit more organized, or I could be starting to try to build a team, or I could try to start investing in that. But then the thing is, I have to take a step back and just say, hey, listen, write down what you've accomplished in the last 6 months. And I did. I wrote down everything, like minuscule things. I wrote down a
whole Instagram post.
Yeah, like I wrote down like the start, like getting your like everything legalized, like logistics, as far as copywriting, as far as like EIN, literally everything, tax ID, literally everything. And I wrote everything down from this to that gig, to that gig, to this gig, to that gig. And I wrote it down not in a sense to boast to myself, but I wrote it down in a sense to say, don't put your fucking head down. Yeah. What do you have to, when you write things down and you look at it for what it is, it's a lot different than talking about it. And as far as the goals, you write down your goals and you check them off, you get a sense of like urgency, like, damn, I did that. I was scared to I didn't even know I was going to do it, but I did it. Yeah. And just because I checked off 3, it made me check off 4 more. Because I had that instant gratification of checking it off of actually accomplishing something. But
what was an instant?
Oh no! And this is the thing. Nothing. I was fortunate. I was fortunate enough to say, it wasn't a surprise when I started my line. Yeah. It wasn't a surprise because today it's very easy to be exposed. People try to, give off a persona that's not necessarily them. People try to fake it. People try to bow wow challenge. But like, the whole thing is, again, it's just staying real to yourself and knowing what it is. So I had a few of my friends and stuff like that. It was just like, about time. Like, damn. Like, you know what I mean? And it kind of gave me a little bit more motivation on what I was doing, because I did have a little bit of credibility to the people that I brought myself around most of the time.
Talk about your friends real quick. Like, if your friends don't uplift you when you're telling them you're trying to do something in your life, those aren't friends.
Those aren't friends.
Those aren't friends.
They just chilling.
They're just chilling. If people don't clap for you when you're doing something good, get rid of them. Yeah, because they're not doing anything for you. They add no value to your life. None. You gotta support yourself with good people, and that's why him and I, we've been friends for 13 years. Yeah. 13 years. My first friend when I moved up here. Like, this is my dude, and look at us right now. We're both pursuing our dreams. Yeah. And that's how it goes. And
I think that really just stems from where you're from.
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
Honestly. How your upbringing
Because my upbringing it wasn't glitz and glamour, but it was rich.
Yeah.
And I mean rich in life, because we had each other and we found a way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I'll always take that anywhere I go. Like, in a sense of moving forward, I've been against the grain a few times.
Yeah.
And overcoming that and knowing what it takes to overcome that and still be grateful, I'm untouchable.
Yeah. Now with all this stuff you're going through, the things you've been through, and the things you're gonna go through, what's the end goal for East End Threads?
My end goal is to definitely, I want to give a shout out to my little brother Lance Gulliver. One thing I definitely,
He's a little hustler.
I have envisioned right now is to stay in house. Okay, I have a good amount of friends that I could reach out to that could send me a nice chunk of change if I needed it. I'm very grateful for that, but I do want to stay in house because I'm thinking the long game. I'm thinking a marathon right now. I'm not thinking, oh, here's a few shirts, a few hoodies, rah, rah, rah. He made noise for a year or two, but he's gone. Most small businesses start to fail. They mostly all fail.
Most people give up their dreams before they hit 30.
Oh, they're dead at 25.
And that's why they fail.
They're dead at 25.
They don't give it enough time.
100%.
To stay relevant. To
100%.
be relevant. Now people know where to go if they want a sweatshirt or a hoodie. Just because you stayed relevant long enough.
Exactly.
That's how you have to continue.
Exactly. And I just take a step back and say, I know that I'm in this for the long haul, so I'm not trying to start this partnership and that partnership and that partnership just because they presented themselves.
Yeah.
So my end goal, truthfully, is, to start with my little brother. He's going to be top distributor.
Yeah.
Literally, I want to be unreachable. Yeah. Truthfully. I just want to connect with anyone that want to be in the field, anyone that want to learn, anyone that I just want to provide value in any way possible, and I want to show people that formal education is going to pay the bills. Yeah. Absolutely. Go to college. I'm not telling you not to go to college. If you want to be an RN, you got to go to college. Yeah. Because there's actual formal education that you need. Okay? But I also feel that self-taught education is going to give you a fortune. Because I can sit down and have this conversation about fashion. I can make $5,000 today, turn around, stop doing what I'm doing, go into real estate, do real estate for a little bit, turn around, start trading. You know what? I'm a day trader now. I do cryptocurrency. Exactly. I might stop that, and you may never see me again. So, it's not just about being hot and being trendy. What I'm really trying to do is show my little brother the ropes, which I'm already doing right now as far as what it takes of actual hard work, and knowing that when you look around and when you look behind you, it's you. When you get that L, that's your L. When anything goes wrong, or you didn't contact or email that person back, or you didn't fix that, or you didn't fix it before you pushed it, that's on you. That's your L.
I'm reading a book right now called Extreme Ownership, about two U.S. Navy SEALs, and it's about leadership in business world and in the combat world. And he literally talks about that. He's like, they have a thing called blue on blue, and it's one of the worst things, like during Vietnam or sometime in the 70s, that it was like one of the worst tragedies in military history, when the same people, the same crew, like say you and I went out to the open, we went around, we did our each individual tour, and we came back and we wound up shooting at each other because we got confused on who you were, who I was. They were unorganized, and that wound up happening to them. And there was one of the biggest tragedies in history, and then it happened again to this dude, the dude of the book that wrote Extreme Ownership.
Damn.
And he talks about how it was one of the worst tragedies then. He's like, I couldn't even imagine what was going to happen to me now that, it happened to us in today's world. And he talks about, what, he's doing the plan with everyone. He's like, how did this happen? All this stuff. And they're going through it. He's like, what am I missing? How did this happen? And he stopped and he goes, I know how this happened. He goes, it was me. He goes, I'm the leader. He's like, I was the one that was supposed to be talking to him and communicating him, to making sure he was doing that, making sure the sniper's in the right spot, make sure everything's going into the micro details that come together and make that not happen.
Right.
So that's the biggest part about being a leader, is even when you have other people doing different things, like say like you with your little brother, you're the leader. So if
Right.
he fucks up,
Right,
that's
right,
you.
right. 100%.
That's on you, no matter
100%.
what. And that's what a leader does. So when you're going through something, something's not going right in your life, there's no one else to blame.
No,
it's you.
No, and you gotta have the balls to really say I fucked up.
Yeah,
like I messed up,
and that's okay.
And
it's
that's
okay
fine.
to mess up,
and that's fine.
It's really
That's
okay
fine.
to mess up.
The L's, I've at first I was scared to fail.
Yeah,
but I had to take a step back and I had to see that it's okay to fail. But you gotta fail forward, and failing forward. Shout out to Will Smith, man. Will Smith,
yeah,
he's the GOAT, man.
GOAT.
He's back on social media, really changing life as a perspective for our era right now.
He's real.
And it's so huge to fail forward because you may think a L is like, damn, like
that's it.
That's it. But throughout that L, you have to take a step back and see, what did I even learn from that situation?
Exactly.
What did I even learn?
You learn more from your failures than from your successes.
And then, but you could also learn from your.
Absolutely. But I've learned everything. The impact that a failure has had on me. Right. My book was like, I was happy with that. That happened, but that didn't teach me. It just showed me that I could do something. But when I failed, it made me realize, why did I fail?
Yeah.
What did I do wrong?
Everything
so I don't make that mistake again.
Everything
stood out.
And that's the thing. And that's truly what it's about. It's just being real with yourself, swallowing it, taking that hit, and just re-auditing yourself. Like literally re-audit yourself. If you gotta listen to a certain podcast, and I listen to a few different podcasts, a few influential people that I look up to. Tony Robbins is definitely up there.
Yeah.
Gary Vaynerchuk is definitely up there. Huge. Right now more so Gary, because he's fast paced. He's
a robot.
He talks that he talks it straight.
Yeah.
He talks it straight. And one thing I could definitely say in that re-audit is really just taking a step back and saying, yeah, I want to quit right now, but why did I start? Why did I truly start? Did I want to start so I could get more likes? Did I want to start because no. The thing is, you have to take a step back and actually be a little cocky in your head. Like, yeah, I did cut a check. Yeah, I did make this happen. Yeah, I did produce that with my hands. Yeah, I did help that person out. Yeah, I did answer 20 emails last night when I didn't want to. Yeah, I did. You know what I mean? You have to kind of like talk that in your head to really take a step back and just start moving along mentally first, because once you win this right here, everything else just rolls out. Once you tell yourself, listen, this is what we're gonna do, and it's gonna get done this way and that way. Why? Because I'm in control. If it goes any other way, it's because I didn't do what I said I was gonna do. And if I expose myself that way, I gotta bite that bullet and shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And dude, I asked myself this question the other day, and I was like, why don't I quit? Like, seriously. It's not even about I can't. I can quit whenever I want. I don't have to do this. I don't have to speak. I don't have to do anything. I can work my 9 to 5. I make good money doing that. Like, I don't need to do anything else. But you know what scares me? I don't know what I would do if I did quit.
And that's powerful.
You know what I mean?
That's powerful.
Like that's what scares me.
That's
like powerful. I don't want to find out what I would do if I quit, because I know it's not this.
Yeah.
And that, like,
that's big.
Dude, I was talking to Ryan Coleman, co-CEO of Flea Market Clothing. I was talking to him this morning, and
shout out to the guys.
Yeah, shout out to the guys. Connor, co-founder, as well as his brother Ryan. I was talking to him about, no disrespect to anyone that works 9 to 5. Have true respect for you guys, your grind. That it takes a serious commitment to do that every day. It really does. But on the contrast of things, in my opinion, this might sound really wrong or call it wrong, but imagine doing the same thing, knowing you're going to do the same thing every day for the next 30 years.
You're dead already.
That's not living to me. I don't understand. I respect people that do that. My mom's done that. My dad's done that. I respect it because it's hard. Very hard. But I feel like my life would be so boring if I knew I had to repeat the same day tomorrow that I did today.
And clock in at the same time.
And there's nothing else to look forward to.
Right.
You're just looking for the weekend.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. And waiting for your next vacation.
That's all it is now.
I'm trying to make my career my vacation.
That's it.
Like, that's what I'm trying to do.
Financial freedom.
Literally. Like, this isn't work to me. Like, this is just fun. This is something I love, and this is what speaking does for me. It releases their endorphins. I'm fucking pumped up for it. I'm passionate about it.
And we're touching somebody.
Exactly.
I may not touch all of you.
Yeah.
I may not touch
even though
all
I'd like to. But
but if one person could take a step back, truthfully, this would mean a lot to me, and I know it would mean a lot to you too. If one person could just take a step back, listening, and could just grasp everything and just literally say like, damn, you know, I wanted to write a book. I wanted to start up like a little t-shirt company. I wanted to do eyelashes. I wanted to do makeup, you know, but I never had the chance to do it. And I cared about what everybody thought. But I take a step back and, you know, whatever. I'm shooting the shit. I got time today. Let me see what these guys are chatting about. They're from my area.
Literally.
They went to high school.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
We broke bread. We hung out. We did this. We did that. But if I could look at 2 testimonials that I once hung out with and kicked it with, and they're 2 steps ahead, not ahead as far as riches and in life. I'm talking about ahead with just taking just that little baby step, that baby step to actually pursue their dreams. If I could have these 2 testimonials just, oh damn, they did that, Nick. Oh, he wrote a book, and oh, whatever. Like, I don't really like the kid, but jacket looks alright. But he started. He started. If one person could just take a step back and grasp that, just take a step back and just start.
I'm gonna challenge the audience, viewers, whoever's listening, whoever's watching. I challenge this. Whenever you don't want to do something, do it. Yeah. Become familiar with doing something you don't want to do.
Yo, oh my God,
seriously,
that's crazy.
Think about that.
That's real.
Because how many more times in life do you be like, damn, I don't want to get up. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to write. I don't want to do my homework. Every time you start having that mind processing going on, I have to do it now because I don't want to do it. Yeah. And when you start getting comfortable with that, it becomes scary. You start getting things done.
Bro, you hit it. You
challenge yourself.
You hit it right
Think
on
about every time that happens, challenge yourself. All right, I have to get it done now because I don't want to get it done. Yeah. And then check it off.
Yeah.
I did it.
It sounds cheesy. It sounds cliche, but it works.
You
know what I mean?
Absolutely. I'm living proof, bro. I've done that for a while now, and shit's going right.
Yeah.
So, if all the things we're talking about, I love it. But like, if you're in your shoes 3 years ago, what's the advice that you'd give yourself, or if you'd give someone else?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy. One thing I definitely, as far as advice, one thing I definitely want to put out to anyone that wanted to start their own clothing line, that's someone that's like was in a mind frame of how do I start? Do I need a sewing machine? Do I need this? Do I need that? Do I need a screen printer? Are we using this? Are we using that?
I'm not just talking about clothing. I'm talking about general
as far as
mindset.
One thing I definitely would have to give as far as Jules is to your goals. Like your goals. You have to write down your goals because
literally write it down.
That is what shapes this whole big picture of what we're talking about. If you don't necessarily have a direction or know where you're going, you're so quick. You're so quick to fail. You're so quick to fail. But if you set a blueprint, in a sense to say legalities, this, that, I want to accomplish this by that time. I want to have this done by that time. I need business cards by that time.
Today to get to there tomorrow.
Right. To feel good, to even keep going, you have to have a blueprint.
And those little wins like that, that's what keeps you motivated. Because you see you're making progress.
In the dark.
Exactly.
And in the dark is where it's at.
Quiet moves.
The silent moves when you see the post. You see the post. You didn't see the preparation before the post.
Exactly.
You didn't see how I was feeling this morning. You didn't see when I was downstairs ironing the shirts because I had to be up there in about 15 minutes and no one knew because everyone was dancing and drinking. No one, like, they see the glitz and the glamour, but they don't know. They don't know how nasty it gets. They don't know the times when my car died and I'm on the side of the street and I had to call my girlfriend and come and bring me some gas. They don't know about the times when I literally had my insurance lapse and I couldn't even move my car. They didn't know about the times when I'm trying to reach you. I keep seeing this Gulliver 1020 email address. Like, you still ain't pay your bill yet, bro? Like, what's up? They don't know about all that. They just see me now and they think they have a perception, but it takes talks like this and it takes a step back of a blueprint, most of all, to really just know where you're trying to go. So just to sum it all up really quick, one thing I could definitely say is to have a blueprint. Know exactly where you're trying to go and then take a step back and figure out, all right, what are the little steps that I'm going to have to figure out? And another thing that's very crucial is that you must do your research on your own. Too many people, and I have gotten some emails, I'm not gonna lie to you, I have gotten some emails of, people like, where'd you get some of your pieces from? Where'd you order it? Da 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 da. You don't know what I went through to get that. Yeah. You didn't know what stress I asked.
You're cheating them by telling them.
Exactly. So I try to be as humble as possible. When I get certain emails and stuff like that, and I just keep it real. I'm just like, you know what? I can help you as far as
guide them.
I will guide you, but I won't put it in your hand.
I want everyone to grow because your success isn't going to affect my success or failure. No shot. I'm going to help you as best as I can. Mm-hmm. However, what made me what is making me successful is that grind. It's learning,
right?
It's putting my head in the books, Googling, doing whatever you can to figure out the information. Because if you just gave out, like, listen, just go here.
Yeah,
you can say instead, look at these products. They'll lead you to where they give you They give you options. Mm-hmm. Figure out what type of option you want, what you want.
Right, and that's the thing. You can only guide them. And the thing is, I'm not gonna turn around and put anything in your hand because nothing was put in my hand.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to put my head down. I had to cry a few nights. I had to do without a few nights. But I faked it till I made it. You never know. No one knew. but you have to have an end result. And as far as research, just put in the research. You'll end up turning around and finding out some stuff that other people may not know, or you now have value to now provide. And that's truly just what it is about at the end of everything. Yeah, my brother, I'm gonna make sure that we're in the system, staying in-house and everything is rolling and stuff like that. But at some point, he is gonna be able to know and do everything that I can do to then provide for himself and provide for others. And the bigger picture of it all is to really create the light. We're adapting every day. Oakdale Mall is about to be done because everyone's on their phones.
I promise you're going to make Oakdale Mall into like a health center.
Or like a little community within a community.
I'm telling you.
Something crazy.
I promise you, bro, they're going to make it, I don't know, I think they're going to make it into little different sectors of health sectors.
Yeah.
For different, they're going to make it literally a community of health.
It's just health.
Orthopedics, doctors, surgeons, everything's going to be there.
But you have to think, most of the money that comes out of the area is BU and nursing or RN or whatever. That's the big chunk. Excuse me. That's the real big chunk of it. But essentially, just being real with yourself, keeping your head down, and ignoring all distractions. Ignoring all distractions is very crucial, and truly just putting in the work. Put it in the work so you don't have to turn around and have to go ask this person for that and this person for that and this person for that. And you just turn around and you're like, damn, I've been trying to do this for 2 years now and nothing moved. Why? Because you want 8 different people to do 8 different things when you could do all of them by yourself.
Look, I'm gonna say this way. This is what I'm gonna leave you guys with. A lot of people think unrealistic things aren't realistic. You can't do that because it's too big. You can't do that. I want you to think about this. I talk about this a lot, and I wrote about this in my next coming book. People talk about this, about the school system, the education system. You go from first grade to second grade to third grade and so on. You go to high school, you graduate, you go to college, and you go into the real world. Mm-hmm. How do you know you passed second grade? It's literally people always get stuck on this question, but it's as simple as you started third. Mm. It's as simple as that. You went through they set up a curriculum for us to follow through.
It's a system.
It's a system. So they if you follow this system, you're going to go to third, fourth, fifth, and then you're going to eventually graduate. What if you created a system for yourself? Create your own curriculum.
Yeah.
I got to do this to pass today next week.
Yeah.
I got to do this to pass this month.
Yeah.
Make your own system. At the end of the day, you have your end goal. End goal is graduation.
Yeah.
From your little kid, graduation. And a lot of people used to drop out when they were younger, and that's why they didn't make it to graduation. Yeah. They got out of the system.
Yeah.
Create your own system. You want to be runway in New York City. That's your end goal. Mm-hmm. I got to set up a curriculum for myself to reach that end goal.
That's it.
Make a plan for yourself.
That's truly it.
Just make a plan. That's literally it. You make a plan. Stop going through the motions every day. Set up a plan to achieve something. 5 things every day. Mark them off, win or loss. Mm-hmm. That's it.
And don't care about who's watching, what they have to say, if I took a step back and I cared about, oh man, I know this person's gonna say something, oh man, I would have never accomplished what I've accomplished in literally only about 10 months. So a lot can happen in 10 months. A lot can happen in a year. But one thing I definitely want to put up, because it's so important today, it's so easy. I could get done with this podcast today and turn around and walk outside and see my best friend pull up in a Camaro or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Is that gonna break me down? Is that gonna, take all the wind out of me? Is that gonna... No, that's gonna inspire me, if anything, and that's gonna, oh shit, a testimonial of my good friend that you did this, like, clean, legal, like you did this. That's just small jewels, man. I'll take that. I'll drive home in my car, you know what I mean? I'll drive home and I'll really just grasp everything in a sense to say, you can't be weak. You can't be weak, especially in this field, and especially as an entrepreneur, and especially just as a hustler as it is. Like, you can't be weak. You can't take no for an answer, and you gotta be able to block out all distractions and know exactly why you started, what it means to you, and if you did get whatever you wanted out of this. If you got it, let's just say I got $1 million tomorrow. Would I stop? Hell no.
No way.
Hell no. Because it's not about the money. Yes, I need money. I need money to leave here today. But my whole thing is truly just knowledge and value. It's something that I came over upon as far as like going through the life insurance and stuff like that, and like having those testimonials in a sense to say, if I didn't get punched in the mouth over and over and over and over and over and over and over, I would never have built the strength mentally to actually say, this is what you got to do, this is what you got to do, and this is how you got to do it, because you know exactly what it takes.
Exactly. And the thing about that too is, like, we're closing up soon, but what I want people to realize is that what you said about doing what it takes and putting yourself in position to succeed and not letting others affect you and what you're trying to do in your life.
What are they doing?
What
are you doing?
Exactly. That's the first. What are you doing that's better than...
If you want to take time out of your day to come at me about how I dress, how I talk, oh, who does this kid think he is, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, that's fine. That's what's going to come with it. If it didn't come with it, then you weren't doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's
so the fact that I do have, and yeah, I do see the comments. I do overhear people. I do see how certain people look at me because I'm not the same person I was a year ago. But that's fine. That's fine with me, because at the end of the day, I know that if they say something today or if they say something tomorrow, I still got paid. So
they're not paying.
You're not paying. You're not doing anything for me. Your opinion is your opinion. All right.
You're welcome to.
I gotta do what I gotta do for me.
And this is what I'm trying to say. Do not be afraid to humbly enforce yourself. Yeah. Do not be afraid to act and be who you really
have
are.
To walk it.
There's a quote. And it says, "Do sharks complain about Monday? No. They're up early, biting stuff, chasing stuff, being scary, reminding everyone that they're a fucking shark."
That's a fact.
That's light. That's who I'm going to be. I'm going to remind you why I'm Nick Sorrenti, why you're Lawrence Gulliver. You're going to know my name eventually.
That's a fact.
And that's it. Remind people why they're hating on you. Because they're hating because they're not doing it.
Yeah, and just put it and take all of that emotion, all of that thought process, and just put it
into your work.
Just take it, instead of throwing it to them. That's what they want. Just take it, turn it around, and just lock in, and just put it in. And then once it manifests, and then once you continue to move forward, those same people that was talking shit,
I knew him.
Like, bro, you know the shit I was talking about last week? I was kidding. I was kidding.
Shirt
you know, I need that, though.
Yeah.
Because I like it.
Real shit.
And then... Like, you think it's just like TV shows and you just see it in movies. This is real life.
This is real life.
I've had people turn around and pull up on me and say, yo, like, no, not for nothing, like, no disrespect, but I didn't see this in you.
Yeah. I had people do that with my book,
and
man.
I took a step back. How
did you write a book?
I took a step back. I'm saying to myself, what you mean? Like,
well,
you didn't believe in me? Yeah. But then when I'm driving in my car and I'm listening, I'm just pulling up and I'm just saying to myself, like, you know how much more people are gonna say that, because I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah, I'm not the same person I was a week ago.
And I can't. And who's to say I I can't be a different person than I was 10 seconds ago.
The only one stopping you from who's stopping you from being someone you're not 2 seconds ago?
That's it. Nobody.
Not
you.
You. Just you.
Not you.
Nobody. You could be a completely different person. I could be Harry. From
Walmart.
Like, you can literally, like, you can be whoever you want to be in a split second.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's it. That's life. But listen, last question. If there's one thing, some advice you can give to anyone. There's one more question. If there's one more thing you can say to anyone, just the best advice you can do, and I don't know, 1 or 2 sentences, what would it be?
If one thing is to know your worth.
Know your worth. Check that off, guys. Write that down.
Know your worth in all aspects. In a sense to say, just because the money's good, just because the pitch sounded good, or just because the opportunities sound good, doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you. If you turn down this situation or turn down that situation, God will present the right situation. Absolutely. So most of all, know your worth. Know exactly everything that you put in, because whatever comes out, it's literally all profit. Mentally, financially, any way you look at it, you have to have it together mentally first. You have to see it, or else it'll never happen.
Figure out what you want.
You have to see it, or it will never happen.
Now, I know I said the last question, but I have one more for you. Something that I was on a podcast a couple months ago called American Real by Roger Brooks. Mm-hmm. Follow him. Great person. Very professional. Does an awesome job with podcasts. He asked me one question at the end, and it stuck with me. And I want to ask you this, because I don't even know. Mm-hmm. If there's one thing that you could be remembered as, what would it be?
If there can be one thing
that you can be remembered as, or remembered by, what do you want your legacy to be? When people bring you up after your death, what do you want them to say?
One is that, and I truly
one thing. I want one thing.
One thing. Man. Oh, man.
What do you want people to say about you? You know who you are. Now, what do you want people to say about you?
I try to be as transparent as possible. And one thing that I definitely want to say is that people at my funeral, I want millions there. I don't want just Joe Schmo and that. I want millions there, not in a concert form or a celebration form, but more, yo, I spoke to that kid for 2 seconds. I don't know what it was, but he just made me a little bit more happier, or he just gave me a little confidence, or he just made me look at something a different way. It was really stupid, but he just made me look at it a different way. I just want, at my funeral, of an abundance of people to literally show love, not in just the cliche remorse, but show love in a sense to say, you know, we didn't have the biggest relationship, we didn't have the strongest relationship, but I did learn one thing from the kid. That's it.
That's it, guys. If you can't support a dude like Lawrence, I'll just tell you, man, he's as real as it gets. That's why we've had a 13-year relationship. I can't say more about him. I love him as a brother. And I'm appreciative of what he does, and I'm appreciative of his grind. I've seen him develop from the bottom to where he is now. Please follow his stuff. Follow his journey. Show him.
Yeah, man, absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram at eastendthreads.com. I'm also on Snapchat at Larry Flacco. That's FLACKO. Also, I'm on Facebook at Lawrence Gulliver. Those are just my main platforms. Also, you can also see some of my work on. I'll
include this all in the YouTube bio.
Oh yeah. The website. It's gonna be eastendthreads.bigcartel.com. I have some products on there right now that I'm pushing right now. But just stay tuned for the summer. I got a lot of surprises coming for the summer. I got a lot of custom pieces coming, and I'm honestly just enjoying the grind, and I'm truly just also grateful to have the opportunity to be involved in something like this, or even have the opportunity to reach out to not only, you know, the people in our area, but most of all everyone as a whole in our demographic. And one thing I could say is just that just go get it, man. Just go get it, and don't look back. Don't look back. Don't look back when you're 50, 60 like, damn, I should have listened to those guys because I thought they were all this and all that. Like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about this. Just move forward and just start.
Listen. He said the thing that stuck out to me most was enjoy the grind. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, it's not what you should be doing.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Simple as that. Listen, if you enjoy this podcast, please refer a friend. Let's get these followers up. Not for me, but to spread the knowledge on other people.
It's important.
Seriously, this is real talk. People need to hear it, and it's vital for others.
Yeah.
If you follow Nick _ Sorrente at Instagram. If you have any questions, you have any people that you think can fit this podcast, everything that we stand for in the right way, if they can add value to others as well as the podcast, please email me at psapodcast.ns@gmail.com.
Must do.
Thank you for watching. Support my brother. Follow him. And,
Thank you to everyone that watched today.
Appreciate you.
Everyone that took a second to watch us today, man.
Listen, guys.
Greatly appreciated.
It starts from knowing your why.
That's it.
PSA out. Later.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team fucking here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team.